The Eldari cling tenaciously to their folklore and traditions. The characters and events of ancient legend are commonly discussed, and comparisons drawn between mythic events and those of the present day. Every Eldari is familiar with the epic songs and dances that form their mythic cycles, and references to these tales are immediately understood by others of their race. The principal characters of the Eldari mythic cycles are the gods, their mortal descendants the Eldari, and the monstrous adversaries they fought. The chief and oldest of all the gods is Asurion, the Phoenix King and leader of the Pantheon. His first brother is Cain, the bloody-handed god. Cain is the master of both war and murder, and he symbolizes wanton destruction and martial prowess. Third of the greatest gods is Vol, the crippled smith god who is often depicted chained to his own anvil. Isha is the goddess of the harvest, from whom the Eldari race is descended. The youngest goddess is Liliath, the maiden, mistress of dreams and fortune, whilst the third of the trinity of Eldari goddesses is Morai Heg, the crone, an ancient and withered creature who holds the fates of mortals inside a rune pouch made of skin. As well as the many gods, there are countless mortal heroes descended from the gods who founded the great houses still echoed today upon the craftworlds. These include the great hero Slaanesh, who was slain by Cain and whose blood is said to drip eternally from the war god's hands. Slaanesh had many descendants, the Eldanar, of whom Inriam the Young was the last. Rivals to Slaanesh were the descendants of his brother, Ulthanash, whose bloodline exists upon craftworld Eundon to this day. At the moment of its birth, Slaanesh decimated the Eldari pantheon and stole the gods' power, with only 2 of their number surviving the fall of the Eldari. The laughing god Kegorak escaped through guile, while Cain, the strongest and most warlike of the Eldari deities, endured through might. Slaanesh and the bloody-handed god fought a titanic battle in the warp, and despite Cain's mastery of war, Slaanesh, glutted with stolen power from the souls of the Eldari and the other gods, eventually proved the stronger. But, exhausted from the struggle, Slaanesh could not destroy and consume the Eldari god outright. Instead, Cain was rent into fragments. Each shard of the war god came to rest within the wraithbone core of a craft world, where it took root and grew into an avatar of the bloody-handed god. To this day, these murderous avatars are still awoken by the craft worlds to lead the Asuriani to war. While the Eldari still revere all the gods of the ancient pantheon and preserve their stories within the mythic cycles, they do not call on them for aid or hope for their intervention any longer. However, a new god, Yenid, the Eldari god of death, who is not a part of the old myth cycles, was long said to be forming from the souls of the Eldari dead within the infinity circuits of the Asuriani craft worlds. Yenid's awakening was dramatically accelerated during the Battle of Port Demesnes in 999 M41 by a ritual undertaken by the Farseer Eldrad Ulthran. Partially awakened within the Immaterium, Yenid reached out across the galaxy and chose the former Eldari Corsair and Comorite arena gladiator Ivrain, the daughter of Shades, to serve as his prophet and high priestess. She founded a new Eldari religious group, the Inari, who in the era Indomitus seek to unite all the Eldari factions across the galaxy to destroy Slaanesh and restore the Eldari's lost glory.